ladies, what is the best thing that you can do for your body after you've had a good exercise session? The best thing you can do is give it a good stretch. This is good for cooling down, and it's good for also bringing those muscles, giving them a nice stretch after they've been working so hard. So getting into a stretch is important, and how long we hold our stretches for, and also the technique. Now, I usually like to start my stretches with adductor stretches, which is the inner thigh. Now, a lot of people are very tight in the inner thighs, and I'm going to demonstrate two stretches that could be done initially before we go into the other stretches. Now, this particular stretch is sometimes a little bit hard for a lot of people to do, but nevertheless, there are flexible people out there, and I'm still going to demonstrate this stretch. I'm sitting right at the edge here, and I'm going to take my heels out with bent knees. So I'm going to take my heels out, and you're going to notice that my heels are, I'm on my heels, my toes are lifted, and my knees are bent. The next thing I'm going to do, now a lot of people might not be able to extend their legs. So even in this position, you can get a really nice stretch if you put your elbows inside the knee and just push your knees away. You can get a really nice stretch here. So this could be your stretch, okay, which you're going to hold for about 20 seconds, at least 20 seconds to get a good stretch. After a while, you're going to feel that you can even take it a little bit further out because the muscle is starting to really relax. Now, other people who would like to get into a more advanced position can slide their heels out and extend their legs and just take their hands out. And from here, this is the difficult part actually, you're going to take one hand and push the toe slightly back because the toe is coming inwards, because that's how it naturally positions itself. And then the left one, and then you're just going to hold them there. Now this one is quite an advanced stretch to hold, but it's really super for those who are quite flexible. So once you've held that for about 20 seconds, it's time for you to come in. Now when you come in, you need to come in gradually because your back has been positioned for a long time in one place. So I like to bring my hands in, and then I bring my hands in slowly. And now I have the ability to just push and help my back as I go back to straight position. Now, other people might find it a lot more user-friendly, as I say, to bring their heels in and hold on to their toes and just drop down. So they're here and they just bend their elbows. So you've got an extended arm, a bent elbow. And that's all you need to do. So you're here and then you're here. And if you hold that for about 20 seconds, that's also a great inner thigh stretch. Okay. Next. So once we're here, it's really easy to move. So I'm going to demonstrate the hamstring. So you can bring your foot forward from this position. And a lot of people, when they do this exercise, they try to get their heads down to their knees, which I really don't think is really applicable in this stretch. But I do like to use my breathing to get into the stretch because it releases my lungs. So I'm going to take a deep breath in, and then I'm going to take it out. But to take it out, I'm going to take each arm in a direction. So the right arm is going to come forward, and the left hand is just going to gently be placed on my knee. Now I'm going to think of my toe as a shelf, and it depends how far you can take your hand beyond the shelf. Now some people might not even touch the toe if they haven't got the flexibility that they need in the hamstring. So remember, the foot is flexed and you're just gently supporting your hand there on the toe. Now, if you want to take it into a more advanced stretch or a deeper stretch, all you need to do is move the hand further in front. Try and keep your back straight while doing this, and do hold the stretch for about 20 seconds. That's great. So that's the end of that stretch. Excellent. Now, I'm going to stretch the front of the leg and the front of the hip. Now, this can be done going straight from this position to the position that I'd like you to go to. So I'm going to go to the left, place my elbow on one side, and then I'm going to bring this knee in. But successfully, I'm going to bring my foot in and I'm going to hold on to my laces. And then from here, I'm going to gently take my knee back. Okay, so make sure you're holding the top of your foot, which is the part where the laces are, and your knee is lifted. Try not to drop the knee, keep the knee lifted, and you will feel the stretch down the front of the leg and the hip. So that's one stretch we can use. The second stretch you can use is that you can come into this position and your foot is not extended, and the best thing to get into this stretch, to get a successful stretch, is to lock the pelvis, squeeze the glute, slightly come forward. You'll start feeling it, and then if you want a deeper stretch, you just extend the toe. And then suddenly, you're going to feel a wonderful stretch down the hip, the front of the hip, and of course, the front of your leg, which are the quads. So you can hold that. So those are two stretches that you can actually do. Okay. Now, if you wanted to continue, of course, you will go straight into the left side. And I will demonstrate again. You will take a nice deep breath in. You will exhale and take both hands. One hand will touch the knee, and the other hand will come onto the shelf. And again, the shelf can be used as you move your hand front and back. Some people, all they need to do is touch the tip. This is for a deep stretch. This is for people who haven't got enough flexibility to take it any further. And then, as I said, once you've held that stretch, all you need to do is take your elbow to the right. Remember to bring the knee in, hold on to the laces nice and tight, and just use your hand to guide your knee back, and you should feel a great stretch there. Hold that for 20 seconds. Again, I will demonstrate how to get into this stretch. So, one foot front. Remember, you've got the knee has always got to be behind the ankle here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my pelvis and squeeze my glutes and take my knee slightly forward. Make sure that the knee is not going beyond the toe. And now I'm going to extend my toe. I can feel a wonderful stretch down the hips. So that's a great stretch for the front of the body. quads and hip flexors. Now, once you release that, we're going to go back down into our position. So, if you all remember, we were somewhere here, weren't we? Now, all I need you to do, after you finish this stretch, is to come, take that foot, and just twist it round and place it just behind your thigh. Keep your body upright. I like to hold my knee and I like to press my knee in for a hip stretch. So you're going to feel a wonderful hip stretch. So this is one variation for the hip stretch. Now I'm going to go straight into another stretch that you can use, and that's called a pigeon pose. So with the pigeon pose, you're going to take your foot in front of you like this, flex the foot, take this toe back, take your hands to the side, and bring your body straight down. So I'm going to demonstrate this on both sides. So you should be feeling a stretch on the right hand side. And then if you want to come up, you can change that. Take it to the other side, make sure you've got your position right. Take your leg back. I like to sometimes hold on to the foot and then take your hands, make sure this is controlled, and drop straight down. And hold it there. Look straight down at the floor, and you should feel the stretch down the right side. Okay, so we've got in the front leg stretch, front hip stretch, we've got the adductor stretch, the inner thigh stretch, we've got the hamstring stretches, and now we're going to go into some back stretches and shoulder stretches, which are very easy to do if you get into the child's pose. We call this the child's pose, and you slide your hands down, open your knees slightly, and just press back. I like to press as I lift my fingers. I find that I get a really nice stretch down the shoulders just by lifting my fingers off the floor. Now this is optional, so you're going to hold this stretch again for about 20 seconds. Okay, now it's very easy to get into the back stretches from here. My favorite is actually keeping my hands where they are and just giving my body a little stretch, a little twist. So if you've noticed, I haven't moved my hands and I'm just twisting. You can't twist much. And then I'm going to come center again, and then I'm going to twist to the other side. And this is a really nice stretch for the muscles at the side of the back there. That little twist. Remember, you can't twist much. That's fabulous. And then you can come in. Now, a lot of people utilize this position to stretch the chest. And they'll take one side and they'll bring one side to the floor. So you're bringing where your armpit is towards the floor and give it a nice stretch there. That's a very nice way of doing it as well. And then you go to the other side, same thing, and bring the armpit to the floor. And you'll be stretching your chest. On the other hand, a lot of people will stretch the chest just taking their hands back and opening up the chest towards the ceiling. This is another way of opening up the chest. That's wonderful. So it's 2 chest exercises, stretches to get you stretched out. The back. There's another way to stretch the back as well, which I really like, and since we're in this position, I can also show you. So these are all things that you can use for your stretches. So I've got my hands up and I've got them laced, and all you need to do is take your right elbow and twist it to your right knee. You will feel the stretch, the left side of the back. And then switch it to the other side and you'll get a nice stretch here in the back. So that's another way for stretching the back. Bring the elbows in, bring them back up. That's wonderful. If you're feeling a little bit tight in the back, we're going to do a very simple back stretch. And everybody at one point has done this stretch. And it's the cat and camel or cat and cow. I'm not sure which ones they are, but we're going to utilize this. So you'll have both hands facing front, and when you breathe in, you're going to arch the back. And so when I take a deep breath in, there's an arch, and as I breathe out, there's a stretch. You round your back, and then you're going to arch the back again. And you're going to breathe out. Now, as you breathe in, when you finish, this is called the neutral back. Okay. Now, one of the stretches that are overlooked a lot, and that's the calf stretch. Now, it's very easy to stretch your calves and keep them flexible in this position. So, all you need to do is you need to release, extend one foot, make sure that the toe comes back, body is straight, leg is straight, and you're going to put all your body weight and try and take that heel down towards the floor. And that will really stretch the back of your calves. That's wonderful. Then you bring it in, and then you exchange legs. Again, you push your heels down into the floor. Wonderful stretch. Now those are really the basic stretches. I would like to talk about one more stretch because it's really easy to get into from this position, and that's the hamstring stretch. Now, a lot of people try to keep everything in a straight line. I'm actually the opposite. I change the position of the knee to make sure that you actually do get into the stretch. So this is how I like to do this particular hamstring stretch. So I'm extending the leg, and instead of just dropping straight down like this, what I do is I take the knee to one side and I stretch it down. And I actually just touch the floor, and if you need a deeper stretch, you can bend the elbows. If not, just stay here. It's a wonderful stretch. So you'll notice that there's like a V angle here, and you don't have to look straight at your foot. I look straight across, and that's a brilliant stretch there. Okay, so if I'm going to show it, I'll show it again on this side, the way I position. So my foot is in front, and instead of coming straight down, I make sure that my knee is facing the opposite direction, and I take my hands to the side, and I just drop my body forward. Okay, and that way it doesn't put too much stress on the knees. This is a very nice stretch for the hamstrings. Really, really nice stretch for the hamstrings. That's a wonderful stretch. Okay, hold that for 20 seconds, and then you can come in. Okay, so coming out of the stretch and makes you feel really good. So I've given you a few variations which you can use, and I hope you enjoyed that instructional video on stretching.